Hi there, welcome to I'll Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Taurus energy, and we're using the shadow decks today just to find out what fears and insecurities it could have been that you might have had to overcome. We can deal with people in our life needless who are kind of in their shadow energy, which can be, a wide range of things. We all have some fears, some insecurity. We've all had lessons to learn. And we could have hurt people along the way in our life because we rejected love. We didn't know how to love ourselves. We, didn't have hope and faith and belief in ourselves. We could have been codependent. And some lessons you've learned in life, and other people could be in your life right now that still haven't learned some of the lessons you've learned, just like you haven't learned some. And then there's other people, shadowy Taurus energy. We all have a worldly nature. We can get all caught up in money and materialism and status and image or lust or greed or laziness. We're either motivated to be more self-aware, to wanting to get out of our fear and insecurity, or we're not. Some people think they don't ever have to self-reflect and deal with that if they just keep up the illusion, if they look successful in the world, then they don't have to do those things. And it's like, nobody has to do anything. You got free will. But if you're not motivated and inspired to grow and mature yourself, you're going to keep repeating patterns of relationship where there is nothing new to learn. And I don't know, that seems like a stuck and stagnant way to live your life. I don't know, I don't want to do that. Anyway, I'm going to get some clarifiers on these cards while I tell you what some of the cards are that came out. For the shadowy Taurus energy, we have the Hermit. Withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, refusing to help those in need. So basically, they go within and hide, and they never do any self-reflection to call judgment on people in their life who might have caused them to be fearful and insecure. They never call judgment on themselves to say, I deserve to love myself and believe in myself and heal myself. I don't deserve to live in fear or insecurity anymore, basically. And then we have the positive Taurus energy, which is challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. And that's interesting because high vibe Taurus energy is about being a true spiritual leader in the world. You've invested the time, energy, and effort to free yourself from your more worldly nature. And shadowy Taurus can be, well, if I just have image and status and money and materialism, people will look up to and admire me, and then I'll be viewed as a pillar of society. And some people, that's what they're motivated by. Other people truly want to understand, to free themselves from their worldly nature so that they can be a true spiritual leader in the world. I don't want people to look up and admire me because I have money or materialism or status or image. People are fickle. They, one day you're in favor, the next day you're out of favor. To rely on the world for your sense of worth and value, or for your sense of stability or self-worth, it comes from within. And people who've learned that are the people who are willing to be the true spiritual leaders. The other people can hide behind their image or their status, or look at me, I'm a pillar of society, but they're selfish or greedy or manipulative or unkind, unjust, unfair, unloving. Okay, for the shadow natures, we have the scattered shadow. Then we have the suspicious shadow, the entitled shadow, the lazy shadow, the flaky shadow, and the thoughtless shadow. Yeah, what are we going to invest our time, energy, and effort? Are we going to keep focused on things that really are superficial and meaningless in the grand scheme of things? Or are we going to put thought and effort and invest time, energy, and effort into things that truly make us feel proud of ourselves, bring us joy, make us feel like we see things clearly. So the scattered shadow, you sometimes hear that in tarot when they talk about scattered energy. Love is what unifies us, and it makes us feel kind of balanced within ourselves, and if we haven't learned to love ourselves, we could be running all over the place. One day we're mad, one day we're sad, one day we're making decisions from our mind, the other day we're making decisions from our heart, the next day we're giving in to our lust and greed, the next day it's, well, that's not practical and logical, and I've got to focus on this. To be cohesive, it's love that holds us together in a cohesive manner. And then Taurus energy is also represented by the Hierophant in tarot, and it's kind of about our underlying philosophy of life. Are we in our pride and ego thinking I can do whatever I want? I don't have to be balanced within myself. If I'm mad, sad, angry, lustful, greedy, whatever, I can just do whatever the hell I want. Look at me. I'm a pillar of society. I have a certain status and image. If people don't know what I'm doing, my status and image will protect me. I can be all these things and all over the place. Or I've learned that I value being at peace within myself. I want to love myself. I want to accomplish my dreams in life that aren't superficial and shallow. And I want to move forward in a just and fair manner, Scattered energy is people who, they're just all over the place because they're not unified and building their foundation from love. They're building their foundation and taking action in their life and staying within a false sense of security because of fear or insecurity or immaturity or indulgence or lust or greed or laziness, And if they don't mind living their life that way, they got free will. They can certainly live their life that way. It's just that you might not want to be in a relationship with them. Okay. So if you have dealt with some people like this in your life, in the scattered energy, which says lack of focus and easily confused, all over the place, unstructured, disorganized. The card that came out to clarify that isn't revealing itself. It could be what they don't show people or what they reject. Queen of Cups. They could really be in their feelings. We can let our emotions run our life, and those emotions don't have to be love. I'm lustful, I'm greedy, I'm envious, I'm jealous, I'm whatever. What are we emotionally invested in? What are we emotionally focused on? Some people, though, could reject love. They're still all caught up in all their feelings and emotions, but they're not offering love to themselves emotionally to heal. They could, in the Six of Cups, again, Scorpio, which is water sign energy, which is about our deep emotions. Some people could be in scattered energy because of the relationships of the past. Maybe they had people in their life that weren't very loving or authentically loving. Shadowy Scorpio energy can be people who are emotionally shallow. That, it can be more about, and with Taurus energy that we're talking about, that they could have been people who were very focused on working together with people to have a certain image and status in the world, and maybe to have stability and security in the world, but it was kind of superficial and shallow. And if some people grew up in families that are like that, maybe they've never really been in deep emotional relationships. And because of that, it's kind of outside their comfort zone to be in relationships with people who are more connected in with their emotions and their intuition. And because they're not used to being in relationships with people who are that way, they could not have learned how to love and believe in themselves because maybe they were in relationships and grew up with people who were kind of emotionally shallow, and they weren't emotionally connected in with themselves, and it was more about image and status and money and materialism, and they're more comfortable being in relationships with people because we all want to stay in our comfort zone, right? We all like to be in a relationship with people that we're comfortable with. And, people could live in grow up in relationship dynamics where people are abusive or they're alcoholics or whatever. And that's what they know how to deal with because they know how to deal with those people. To deal with people who are like authentic and loving and nurturing is just like, where the hell am I? I don't even know how to deal with you because I'm not used to being that way. So maybe they're very also codependent on repeating these patterns of relationship because they have a lot to learn about love and loving themselves and believing in themselves and getting clear about what is loving and what isn't loving. But they have to be willing. The hermit, of course, in tarot, the Virgo hermit is about going within to gain insight and wisdom about the past, seeing the truth about why you might be fearful and insecure and learning to love yourself. Why was there people in your past that were emotionally shallow, so now you don't trust people and you think everybody's superficial? Some people, though, aren't willing to see the truth about people from their past that could have made them fearful and insecure of trusting other people. All they've known is people who are superficial and shallow and make life all about status and image and money and materialism, and that's their comfort zone. You could have been in relationships with some people like that. Then we have the suspicious shadow, suspects others without proof or reason. They're snoopy, mistrustful, skeptical, and leery. Well, again, Six of Cups is Scorpio energy, and in shadow, Scorpio energy can be people who are emotionally shallow. They present an illusion to the world that they're like these loving, committed pillars of society, but it's just more of an illusion. They're kind of like emotionally shallow. There's not a lot of substance there. And then because they know they're presenting an illusion and they're kind of presenting a facade, it makes them distrustful of others because then they think other people are just presenting an illusion and a facade also. And they could be very suspicious of people in the world. And it makes them, in the Four of Pentacles, unwilling to open up, unwilling to step out of their comfort zone, distrustful of other people. They could have put an end to believing in their dreams. And they decided to move forward in Scorpio death energy of being emotionally shallow and defensive and self-protective. If they were in relationships with people who they were working together with, they could have held back from growing and learning and maturing themselves about why they're fearful and insecure, why they're unwilling to open up, why they're unwilling to maybe detach from people in their past that they might be codependent on for their sense of stability and security, why they're unwilling to move forward in their life and give birth to something new. If they were in relationships with people who wanted to be in a relationship with them, wanted to invest in having a dream come into reality, some of those people could have distanced themselves from those people. Maybe for some because they know they're not willing, they don't believe in their dreams coming into reality. They don't trust people. They just think it's an illusion. That if they were working with other people, they think other people are just putting on an illusion too. They don't trust them. So then they could walk away from them and they could decide emotionally to make their life more about investing in the world and making their life more about money and materialism and status and image, which is kind of shadowy Taurus energy. Because then the world will give them a stamp of approval saying, we view you as successful. Oh, you're selfish. Oh, you're fearful. Oh, you're insecure. You're could be even intimidating and controlling, and maybe you're like a private detective in a relationship. We don't care. We view you as one of the successful people in the world because, you know, how the world judges people is kind of on a superficial basis. And for some people, they're distrustful of people and they don't want to work together with people from a deep emotional connection because then they could get hurt emotionally. You know, if the relationship didn't work out, they'd be being vulnerable. And since they don't trust people, they could prefer to move away from people who have learned lessons in life, who are bold and brave and confident, who have freed themselves from their more fearful, insecure nature, because those people aren't willing to repeat those patterns of relationship with them and indulge them in being in a more superficial relationship. High vibe people want to move forward and change and give birth to new things and move forward in their life. And people who are in shadowy energy is kind of like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm clinging to the way I've done things. I'm comfortable here. I know how to do this. I know how to work together with people in these type of relationships. And they could have been willing to end relationships with people who view life differently than them, to go be in relationships with people who also make their life more being motivated and inspired by money and materialism and status and image, because that's how they view life, you know. And we all like to be in a relationship with people who kind of are on the same page of life as we are. Oh, are you motivated and inspired by those things? Me too. Oh, are you motivated and inspired to taking bold, brave, confident action of detaching from the old ways and giving birth to something new and listening to our intuition and being bold and brave and creative? Nope, I got to end a relationship with you. I am not willing to do those things. So then we have the entitled shadow. And so the entitled says, you owe me attitude and self-centered, unrealistic expectations. You know, that's another thing that Taurus energy is about. Taurus has to do with our underlying foundation of how we view life and how we view relationships. And we can all have illusions about what we think relationships are supposed to be like. Some people could be under the illusion that you're not supposed to love and believe in yourself and be willing to detach from the past, to see through your fears and insecurities, to give birth to something new and be bold and brave and confident in the world. You're supposed to keep doing things the way that the world tells you to do things. You're supposed to do things the way that my family did things, or my societal group, or whatever, or my perception, you know? And some people could have unrealistic expectations about relationships. Some people could think, I should be able to hold back in relationships. I shouldn't have to take creative, inspired action to bring this dream into reality. I shouldn't have to put an end to any of my ways of being, or my more worldly focused ways of being, or my more prideful or egotistical ways of being. You know, some people are entitled and lazy, and they think that if they maybe come together in a relationship with people, this is the Five of Wands, is Leo energy, in their pride and ego, they could think that if they get in a relationship with people, that maybe the other people should put work and effort into being in a relationship with them, and that they can be in their pride and ego. This Five of Wands and the Queen of Wands is both Leo energy, and in shadow it can be people that, you know, I look, again, Aries energy. Some people could feel like their foundation has a certain status and image in the world. Maybe they're kind of in their ego about it. Some people could think that people should fight to be in a relationship with them. They could really be full of themselves. And then if they get in relationships with people, they don't think that they should have to put work and effort. You should put work and effort to be in a relationship with them. Again, Taurus energy, maybe they have status and image and money and materialism. You should want to be in a relationship with them. They don't have to be putting in work and effort. You should be putting in work and effort to be in a relationship with them. Goodness. We're going to talk about how you overcame people like this in your life in a moment, or maybe that was you. Then we have the flaky shadow. Commit to things but rarely follow through, unpredictable, flighty, indecisive. And the thoughtless shadow. Doesn't consider the possible consequences, inconsiderate, insensitive, unmindful. You could have been in relationships. These could all be different relationships that you were in, for all I know. You could have been in relationships with some people that could have decided to invest emotionally in backstabbing the loving people in their life and aligning with their more loving, intuitive nature because they align with their more worldly nature. And their worldly nature of pride and ego and money and materialism tempts them to align with their more worldly nature. It's kind of like our ego wants us to let our ego run our life, to not align with the divine or our more loving nature, not to have hope and faith and belief in our dreams, make our life all about ego and image and status and indulgence and pridefulness, you know? It's kind of like listening to the devil on our shoulder. Some people want to be in relationships with people who are in regret. Oh, are you in regret? Let me come and present myself as like Prince Charming, like I'm this loving family person, male or female, and you focus on me, kind of like I'm your saving grace. Turn your back on putting in work and effort to gain insight and wisdom about your own fear and insecurity and moving forward in life and being like a spiritual leader in the world. I want you to focus on me. I don't want to put work and effort to gaining insight and wisdom about me being kind of flaky or immature or inconsiderate or lazy or whatever, or prideful or egotistical. You're supposed to put work and effort into moving forward with my long-term plan. And my long-term plan is I emotionally invest in people who are willing to maybe make their foundation in life more about the world, money and materialism and status and image. Some of you could have been in a relationship with people and you wanted to put work and effort into being a true spiritual leader in the world, where people go within, people gain insight and wisdom, people love themselves. They kind of put an end to being this more superficial person who presents a facade to the world, who really wants to be authentic in the world. They've offered love to their own past pain and heartbreak so that they could quit living their life and making decisions in their life out of fear and insecurity and past pain and heartbreak, basically. I want to put in work and effort to move my life forward. I want to grow and mature myself. And other people in life view life completely differently. They don't want to put that work and effort in to dealing with their past pain and heartbreak. They don't want to be in relationships with other people who do. Oh, are you in regret? Have you not put work and effort to believe in yourself and love yourself and have hope and faith and belief in yourself? Perfect. Let's get in a relationship. I'm going to backstab the loving people in my life because I don't want to put in that work and effort. I have pain and heartbreak that stops me, that I don't want to gain insight and wisdom about. You know, I had relationships that didn't work out in the past. I don't want to gain insight and wisdom if those relationships didn't work out because of me. I don't want to see the truth about the people in my life who might have hurt me, that made me fearful and suspicious of people, that made me not trust people, that made me give up on my dreams, that now I live this superficial life all about money and materialism. I don't want to see the truth about the people in my life that maybe made me feel that way about life. You know, we're either willing to face the truth or we're in denial of the truth and we don't want to see the truth. And some people want to be in relationships with other people who also don't deal with their past pain and heartbreak. You're my kind of person. Let's get in a relationship. Yeah, let's both not put in work and effort to gain insight and wisdom about past pain and heartbreak. Let's keep just investing in the world, focus on having money and materialism and status and image so we look successful in the world by worldly standards. You know? They harness more shadowy energy of rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. So again, I don't want to rebel against the world. I don't want to stand up for myself. I don't want to walk away from my illusions about what I was taught to think life was about. I don't want to be bold and brave and confident. I don't want to be my authentic self in the world. There might be people who don't like that. There could be people that they have built foundations and relationships with. It could be people in their own family. It could be a friend group. It could be a work group or whatever. And they could know that if they were to listen to their intuition and move forward in life and put an end to the illusion of presenting this facade and actually invested in listening to their intuition and growing and maturing themselves and dealing with their regrets of the past and investing in what would really bring them joy and happiness in their life, they could know there's some people that they have a foundation with who would really not like that. Who might be very prideful, competitive, whatever type people, and they'd have to stand up for themselves against those people. And some people aren't willing to do that. You know, in order for us to detach from our more shadowy ego, indulgent, immature nature, if we try to move on from that, it's like trying to break an addiction. Not indulging our fear anymore. Well, our fearful nature isn't going to like that. Our fearful, egotistical nature likes to run our life. And they don't care if they run our life into the ditch. Our more unloving nature, kind of like listening to the devil on our shoulder, kind of likes it when we're miserable and unhappy and fearful and insecure, because then they get to indulge in all the things that they want us to indulge in. You know, negative energy can't have life unless we embody it. If we embody our loving, hopeful, believing nature, we're not going to be indulging those things. And it's like our shadow nature doesn't get to live in the world because we're not indulging it anymore. Our shadow nature of pride and ego and fear and insecurity and immaturity and indulgence is going to have a problem if we want to go align with our more loving nature. And it's going to put up a fight. And we all have the spiritual warfare within us, you know? And then when we have indulged in that, we've probably gotten in relationships with people who play on the fact that we have fear, insecurity, that we're codependent, that we're lustful, that we're greedy, whatever. Those people aren't going to like it either if we decide to love and believe in ourselves. And they might put up a fight and try to manipulate us and control us so that we don't move forward in our life. And you could have been in a relationship with some people like that. Some people who are very competitive and prideful and egotistical. You should stay in a relationship with me. You shouldn't go align with those people. So, how did you deal with people like this in your life? I had to turn off the camera for a minute. My dog was chewing on something. How did you deal with people like this in your life? If you were in relationships with people who just seemed to be all over the place, and because of that, they were repeating some poor past patterns of the past, maybe wanting you to indulge them in a relationship, kind of like they're a child. Maybe they're more emotionally invested in looking to the past and wanting to be in relationships with people who will indulge them repeating those patterns, kind of like you're supposed to be a mother and indulge them. I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who wants to repeat childhood patterns because they haven't went within to gain insight about their past and why they reject love and blah, 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 blah. You know, if I If I was doing that and I was working with you and I was encouraging you, eventually there comes a time where if you're kind of indulging in being in a loving, supportive environment, but you're not ever doing the work within yourself to heal and self reflect and grow and mature yourself, there comes a time where I'm not going to keep investing in you emotionally. If you want to repeat these patterns of the past, or you're aligning with people in your past, or they're, you're not willing to detach from those people or those ways of being, then go at it. You got free will, but I'm not going to be a part of it. You could have had to move on. And the World card talks about closing out a chapter in your life. You held back maybe from somebody who doesn't open up, who's kind of selfish or greedy or materialistic. If that's how they grew up and, it's all about image and status and presentation, it's like you're emotionally shallow, If you're not willing to get over your fears and insecurities and detach from your old ways of being and detach from people in your past who maybe want you to cling on to them and make them the priority in your life. Hey, if your family or your friend group or your work group is the priority in your life, enjoy. I'm moving on. I have a dream, and I'm not willing to give up on my dreams. I'm not willing to move forward in an emotionally shallow, superficial life. I am willing to emotionally detach from this dream and put an end to putting in work and effort into this dream. If you're not willing to walk away from your illusions and your fear and your insecurity or your codependency or whatever that makes you cling to these old ways of being, instead of willing to put an end to that and give birth to something new. If you're fearful and afraid of trusting people, then I wish you peace. I'm moving on. Entitled, lazy, okay? And just like you weren't interested in staying in a relationship with them because you don't want to repeat those patterns of relationship, you've been there, you've done that, and they do want to repeat those patterns of behavior, they were willing to let you go. They were willing to walk away from you also and let this relationship go. Because they're motivated and inspired by different things in life than you are. They could have wanted, the Queen of Wands can talk about the other man, other woman. They might have had inner conflict being in a relationship with you because you harness these energies in a high vibe way. You do take, when you have inner conflict within yourself, when your competitive nature gets kicked up, when your kind of more prideful, egotistical nature gets kicked up, what do you do within yourself? Your foundation invest time, energy, and effort into listening to your intuition about people in the world who might be entitled and lazy, how you might be in an energy of being entitled and lazy, and you listen to your intuition about your inner conflict. And you take action from a place of love. Love for yourself, love for the people that you're in a relationship with, and you listen to your intuition to guide you so that you don't stay in inner conflict within yourself. You put in work and effort to resolve your own inner conflict, to try to bring harmony to a relationship. You try to inspire other people to be bold and brave and creative and to take action out of love. And some other people could have been willing to end a relationship with you to maybe go get in a relationship with someone else because that's how they handle their inner conflict. I'm just going to go get in a relationship with someone else. We either empower ourselves, and Taurus energy is about investing time, energy, and effort. What are you going to invest time, energy, and effort into? High vibe, it's about being a spiritual leader in the world. Gaining insight and wisdom about being bold and brave and confident in your life. And other people are like, no, I just want to look like I'm that, but I don't really want to put in the work and effort. I'm lazy. I operate more from pride and ego. I don't have to learn lessons. I don't have to grow up. I don't have to mature. I'll just go get in a relationship with someone else. And those people in my life who maybe walked away from me, oh, it's going to cause them a lot of inner conflict. And that is how they feel empowered. We either empower ourselves, or because we don't know how to love ourselves and believe in ourselves and take action that we're proud of, we're not doing things to be proud of. So, in order to give us a false sense of empowerment, we try to do things to make other people, how we impact other people. Oh, look at them. They're all in their pride and ego. Oh, I really upset them. Ooh, they're jealous now. Oh, they're mad. Look how powerful I am. Look at the impact I can have on other people. But again, it's not based on love. And as soon as the other people in their life get over their pride and ego, well, then it's all like deflated and falls flat. Oh, look at me. I went and had a new beginning with someone else. I'm watching you. Are you in your pride and ego? Ooh, I'm going to keep doing this as long as you're in your pride and ego, as long as it's causing you conflict. And then when you're no longer in conflict and you've moved on and loved yourself, well, then they're looking at you saying, well, shit, they went and moved on. They went and gained insight and understanding. They loved themselves. They believed in themselves. Shit, no, I got inner conflict. I was hoping that, it's kind of like the thrill is gone. The reason they went and even got in another relationship isn't because of maybe love. It's just because they don't want to deal with their own inner conflict. And it was just a benefit if it caused you inner conflict. It's like, cool. It kind of was probably the spark to their whole relationship, was the fact for maybe both of them, because they both could be in shadowy Leo energy. Competitive, prideful, egotistical. Oh, look at us. Look, we got in a relationship. Oh, did the loving people who are bold and brave and confident, do they feel backstabbed and betrayed? Oh my God, I feel so powerful. And then as you move forward in your life, realizing those people are kind of flaky and thoughtless, you offered yourself love. People can backstab and betray us. People can throw us under the bus. People can be whatever the hell way they want to be. It's up to us if we stay feeling backstabbed and betrayed, if we feel in lack or whatever. And you decided to offer love to yourself, to take the lesson you were meant to learn from this, that some people don't make the free will choice to be open and honest and loving. You learned a valuable lesson. If you're an open, honest, loving, dedicated, loyal, committed, whatever type person, you could have been considered naive and gullible. And we have to realize that just because, we can project our ways of being onto other people, and they're really not that, but as long as we have an illusion about them that they're like us, we keep projecting our ways of being onto them, like as if they inherently have those traits and characteristics within them, and they don't. And instead of just projecting ourselves upon other people and thinking they're just like me, we've really got to get out of our illusions and get to know people, work together with them, maybe before we get too emotionally connected with them, to find out, are they kind of in scattered energy, or are they grounded in an energy of love? I kind of look at the Six of Cups as being balanced. They've learned how to love their shadow nature, so that they don't indulge in being fearful and immature and prideful and egotistical, because they've learned how to temper their more shadow nature. So I look at the Six of Cups as like the figure 8, that they know how to tame themselves, basically. And if you realize when you take time to get to know people that they kind of really don't open up, that they seem to be more worldly focused or image focused or selfish or greedy or whatever, then you would end the relationships with those people. It's like, I wish you peace, but I think we have different dreams in life, and I have been in relationships like this before, and I think you kind of have illusions about what it's like to be in relationships. And if you think that you don't have to open up, or that you can be selfish and greedy, or that's your dream in life, then peace be with you. I'm moving on. This relationship's over. And if you're not someone who holds back from the world, who takes bold creative action to deal with your own fears and insecurities and detach from those to give birth to new things in life, then we're not moving forward together. If you are someone who does that, then we could move forward together, and we could be in a relationship. And maybe with some people you did that and everything seemed to be like you were on the same page, and you thought people were going to move forward. But again, when do people get triggered into their pride and ego? We never know when people are going to kind of get entitled. Maybe some people got lazy in a relationship, got in their pride and ego. You should indulge me in a relationship for some reason. And it caused a lot of conflict and fighting in a relationship. And again, you could have tried to encourage people, and we're offering love and things to people. But again, if people aren't willing, if they've decided to live more from their mind than their heart, that they're just going to go out there in the world, they're more caught up in, oh no, I'll just go present myself as a loving family person to someone else. I'm sure those people will want to put in work and effort with me. Again, kind of get caught up in their pride and ego and laziness. I shouldn't have to put work and effort into growing and maturing myself. I think I'm good. If you're not good staying right here where it is, and you don't want to stay in a relationship because of your pride or ego or your competitive nature, and you're willing to want to keep moving forward, well, I don't want to keep moving forward. I'm good right here. And if you're willing to keep wanting to grow and mature yourself, I think I'm done growing and maturing myself. I think I'll just go find someone else to be in a relationship. Well, eventually a relationship can come to an end. And if there's some people that kind of get caught up in but I present myself as like a loving family person in the world, male or female, but they're not really, I don't know, maybe it gets to be where a relationship seems, or in the world as it gets established, that it seems like it has a lot of stability or security. Maybe some people think, well, I offer you the things of the world, isn't that good enough? You should keep working with me to be like king and queen of the world. And you're like, if it's not based on love, then this is over. you know if you're kind of caught up in the illusion that it's just presenting yourself as loving without really being loving, that makes me sad. But I'm not going to give up on my dreams, and I'm going to put work and effort to keep moving forward believing in my dreams. If you want to keep making your life more about money and materialism or status or image, I'm going to challenge your authority to affect social change. I reject your spiritual system that doesn't meet people's inner emotional spiritual needs. Different people can get content with different things in life. And then again, as you're moving forward in your life, that can cause those people inner conflict, because now they know they settled for more of being in their pride and ego and laziness. Well, then, if they rejected loving people who are willing to put work and effort, guess who that opens up the door to have come in their life? Other people who are motivated by pride and ego and image. I'll be your partner. And then they get in a relationship, and that person is like, oh no, I'm willing to stay in this relationship because of pride and ego and image and status. I'm very competitive. And I have inner conflict about being bold and brave and putting in work and effort to bring my dreams into reality. You already have these things. I'll be your partner. Well, then they get someone in their life who also might feel entitled and lazy. And then there's probably some fighting and arguing going in the relationship, and they're looking at you moving forward in love, maybe having other people who see that you've ended a relationship with this person, who know that you're offering love to move forward in your life, to get over your regrets about the past, and those people want to put work and effort in to having a new beginning with you. And these people are like, shit, I rejected investing in my own loving, intuitive nature to keep growing and maturing myself. And I kind of got caught up in my more entitled nature and ego and selfishness and thought I was all that. And now I got people in my life who were willing to fight to be in a relationship with me. But why were they fighting to be in a relationship with me? Was it because of love? Or were they also motivated by pride and ego and competitiveness and jealousy or envy? It's kind of like, I just want you to backstab those people. I want it to be like, you chose me. And oh, then when you chose me and we're in the relationship and you backstab those people, yeah, I guess I won. You're in the relationship with me. You backstab those people. I guess it's all about me now. And then that's kind of funny. What goes around comes around, right? They thought you should enable them in a relationship in their pride and ego. Well, now that they backstabbed and betrayed you and they got in a relationship with someone else, well, that person knows they backstabbed and betrayed you. They probably can't go back and get in a relationship with you. So now this person could have to settle for being in a relationship with someone who thinks that they should be able to be bossy and controlling and lazy and entitled. And it's kind of like, how do you like being in a relationship with someone who's just like you? So as time goes by, sometimes those people who were thoughtless and inconsiderate and all that stuff might now want to have a new beginning with you. Make an offer to the person they backstabbed. And they could end up in regret because you already learned a valuable lesson from them. There maybe is nothing new to learn from being in a relationship with them because they maybe haven't changed. The only reason they could be coming to get in a relationship with you is because the relationship they got themselves in ended up with them being backstabbed and in regret, but they haven't grown and matured themselves yet. And you'll have to listen to your intuition about it. If people are presenting a facade, an illusion, but they really haven't dealt with their past pain and heartbreak, it would just be a repeat of the same old thing that happened before. They're still going to be repeating these relationship patterns because they still haven't done the work to close out and learn the lessons they were meant to learn. You'll get in a relationship again. They'll still be suspicious and fearful and insecure. They'll emotionally distance themselves. They'll be intimidating and controlling. And the same old pattern will happen again. Because if we haven't learned the lessons we were meant to learn, we keep repeating those patterns of relationship. For some of those people who got in a relationship with, not you, but say the people who you moved away from, they went and got in a relationship with someone else, maybe because of pride and ego. How dare you think that I have lessons to learn, that I need to grow and mature myself? There's lots of people who want to be in a relationship with me. It's like, okay, well, you go get in a relationship with someone else then. And you moved on. You could have, the Pentacles can talk about you have a new beginning, a new job. You know, for some of you as an employer, you know, you got new friendships, you got new relationships. You know, you could have other people who went through similar life experiences as you, and as they have learned to deal with their past pain and heartbreak, they see that you've dealt with yours. You could have other people who are on the same life path as you now, and those people want to work with you because they see that you're not caught up in all of that past bullshit, that you've detached from those people, that you've healed. And then those people could have, some of those people were already here. They were just waiting for you to catch up. You know, just like all the people in the world, right? Aren't we all waiting to be in relationships and friendship groups with people who aren't petty and jealous and envious and selfish and greedy and manipulative? You know, there's people who would have liked to have been in a relationship, but because you were in a relationship with other people, you know, they started to put work and effort into moving forward in their life. And then as you come forward in your life and you've dealt with your past pain and heartbreak, well, then you're kind of both on the same page. And, you know, you cross paths with different people in life. And it's like, hey, you know, it seems like we're on the same page. We're both, you know, have let go of being in relationships with people who present more of an illusion in life, who haven't dealt with their past pain and heartbreak, who operate from fear and insecurity and thinking they should be indulged in a relationship being that way. And we don't want to keep investing in those type of people because all they do is backstab and betray us and sabotage the relationship. So you want to have a new beginning? And you're going to listen to your intuition about the people who come towards you to find out if they've done the work and effort within themselves to detach from past pain and heartbreak, to making their life more about money and materialism and status and image, or being bossy or controlling or intimidating. You know, are they open? Are they honest? Are they authentic? Are they insightful? Have they learned lessons in life? Those are the people you'll move forward with. The other people, you'll like wish them peace. Sorry it didn't work out for you. Sorry the relationship you went to go get in didn't work out and left you in regret. But, you know, my intuition is telling me you haven't changed and this is going nowhere. And I'm moving on. So there you go, Taurus energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.